Hello, Facebook people on Facebook. Anyone here today joining us at YourTango for Facebook Live? This is Arianna, Jeret. I know that Game of Thrones is on and everything, but I'm hoping that somehow somebody is gonna watch. I see, okay, yay, people are coming on, so say hi, let me know you're here. I'm just emergency readjusting because the spot I typically like to sit in my place when I do my Facebook Live in my normal place, see over there. As I went to sit down for this, the light bulb blew. Hi Chad, how are you? And Crystal, hi. Sue, nice to see you. I see Michelle, hi. Sarath. Hey, I see Chad just said hi specifically again. So hi again. Hi Arithia. Hi Nikki. I'm going to try really hard to, what is Tango? YourTango is an online magazine. It's the Facebook page that you're on right now, and we are all about love, sex, and relationships. That's Ella. Hopefully she'll sit down and say hi. Hi Evelyn, Alexander, Trisha, Arlette. I know how much fun it is, you know, to get to know that I see you and see your name, so I'm going to try to say names as much as I can. My name again is Arianna Jeret. Oh, thank you. Sarah said nice hair. Thank you. And also, I want to make sure, because you guys have been sending in questions, anonymous questions, and so I want to make sure that you guys have been so active, which has been great, and I'm trying to get to everybody's questions. And then there's also, hi Amy and Barbara, there's also questions that have been coming in anonymously. So I'm going to do one of those first. Chad said, I'm doing fair. Do you guys have anybody that deals with dreams? We've definitely been doing a few dream articles lately, and I know we've talked about putting some more out there. I think dreams are super fascinating, and we had one article specifically about sex dreams, and then there was another, I think it was just like some common dream meanings. So thanks for mentioning that, Chad. You know, anytime anybody has any anything they're specifically wondering about, if you want to send a message on our Facebook page, we check it all the time. Raphael said, I know you. Your name does not look familiar, but we may have met at some point somewhere. Hi, Hermie and Cassia, Maria from the Philippines. Sabina, what am I? I am a woman who is a writer and an editor at YourTango, and and I'm a MSW, a Master's in Social Work, but, you know, as I always say before we start, hi, Renee is a first-time viewer. None of this is, you know, should be considered therapeutic advice or legal advice if we talk about divorce at all. I was a divorce mediator for a good long time. Chad, no, we don't have anybody, you know, well, if you look in our experts directory, we do have a number of experts listed by specialty, and when you see the articles, you know, I know one was written by an expert who you can look up her name and her bio information, and you can contact her to talk to her directly. Terry, Tango got caught up in your newsfeed because you probably liked it at some point, so you can keep watching, which will be great, and ask some questions or listen in, or you can click off and say goodbye. Either way. Hi Deborah, hi Silas. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer a question that was sent in with a specific request to answer it anonymously. So I'm going to get to that one. So the question was, I'm just reading it off of my little handy dandy computer. Hey Arianna, I didn't want to ask my question in public. What is the norm for a married couple to have sex? My husband wants it every day, and myself, well, I can go weeks, maybe months without. But I have sex at least every 3 days because my husband thinks there's a problem if we don't have sex often. So I don't even think that it matters what the average is necessarily. There was a study that came out about maybe a year and a half ago, where the ideal number was found to be that couples should have sex at least once a week in order to continue releasing oxytocin, which is the hormone that's released when you have sex. And oxytocin, when it's released, both in men and women, it's a bonding hormone, and it keeps you having that like connected feeling to each other. And so the finding was that when couples had sex less often than once a week, then their feelings of connectedness and happiness and satisfaction in their relationship went down because they weren't releasing that enough. The study did find that if they have sex more than once a week, it doesn't necessarily go up and make it any better, but it also doesn't make it any worse. And I think it's really just about finding, you know, between the two of you, what is reasonable. I mean, I think, you know, it says you're not letting it go more than every 3 days, so it's probably at least twice a week. And I think that's just, you know, totally between the two of you, you know. And he, on the one hand, I feel like male or female, whoever it is who wants to have more sex, shouldn't be pressuring the other one in a way that's coercive or, you know, demanding. And at the same time, I think that for the person who, male or female, who's not wanting to have sex as often, you know, I do think that that it's really, you know, worth listening to the other person and seeing, you know, what is it that's holding you back from wanting to do it more than twice a week? You know, is it really pure exhaustion? Is it not as good as you'd want it to be? Is there something that needs to be improved about it that would make it better for you as well? And I think it just needs to be a conversation, but the most important thing is it needs to be a fun, cooperative conversation and not a coercive one. So, you know, I mean, it definitely sounds like, from my experience with divorcing couples, I mean, you guys are certainly having sex more often than people who are having a lot of, you know, trouble typically do. So I don't think it's anything, you know, for your husband to be turning his nose up about. But, you know, I think it's definitely worth a conversation. I'm going to go back and take a look because I saw that there were a bunch of questions that did come in and I want to see. Let's see. Karina said, oh my God, this is torture compared to Becca's show. No one wants to sit here listening to you, calling hi to everybody. You never get to the point. Karina, Becca's awesome. And you can watch her Tuesday and Thursday, but people have been coming on here and we're having a good time. And so I'm sorry that you're not liking it, but it's too bad. Maybe try again another time. Let's see. Amanda said, an old fling just texted me after 5 years recently. How should I approach the situation? Text him and meet him for a date, ask him out? Well, yeah, Amanda, I'd be really curious to know what his text to you said. You know, if you are really interested, it sounds like you're obviously interested in him, or you wouldn't be asking, this is Ella, you wouldn't be asking about what you should do and if you should ask him out. You know, yeah, I think just go for it. You know, that's one where you guys already know each other and this isn't some random guy, like, you know, just sort of on the fly saying hi to you for the first time on some dating site or whatever, and like, you know who he is and why you've already had, you know, however long it's been in between when you last heard from each other and now. So I would say just go for it. Yeah, get in touch with him and see what happens. And I would, you know, maybe don't ask him for a date or ask him for, you know, like out, but you can just like, why don't we get coffee? Why don't we hang out and get together and, you know, keep it really low pressure. And then, you know, you'll pay attention and if you've already had a relationship with each other, you know when it's going well and when it's not. So you'll have a sense right away. But I would think definitely go for it. Oh, Amy said, what happens if two people can't decide custody in mediation? I mean, I would say do the best you can to try to figure it out in mediation, because the alternative, if you can't figure it out in mediation, is to go to court. 1 second, sorry. Ella, sit. Ella, sit. She's really cute and really loud when she barks when people walk by. But if you go to court, you're going to end up, you know, leaving everything up to the judge. And so I would really, you know, look very carefully at what it is you're finding not to be acceptable to you within mediation because the expense once things end up in court is it just grows so quickly, you cannot keep up with it. And once it gets into the court process, I mean, frankly, I'm going through it right now myself. And I'll tell you, I've been having a pretty shitty ass day and week because of what's going on in my custody situation. And you do not want to get to the point of going through a custody evaluation. If anybody's listening to this, my one message about divorce and custody would be never, ever, ever, for any reason whatsoever, go through a custody evaluation. It is a bad deal all around. And you really just don't want to get involved. You don't want to get involved. There's corruption all over the system. Things are just completely out of your hands. Your kids are out of your hands. The expense is insane. I mean, it's just insane. It's a disgusting system. So Amy, I'm just going to say to you, work it out in mediation, please. Please, please, please figure out something that works for you guys. Marcy, where's the woman who used to run this group? Becca is here every Tuesday and Thursday night for Becca After Dark, and I'm here every Sunday. So nobody else used to run Sunday night. It's always been me. Yay. Okay. Troy, if a person cheats once, will they do it again? I don't think necessarily. I mean, I really don't. I don't necessarily believe in the whole once a cheater, always a cheater thing. I think that it's situational. I also think that there are people, I believe in the whole thing about monogamy being a spectrum. And I think that some people are not like wired to be faithful. And I think it's better off for those people to be honest with themselves and the people who they're in relationships with. And then for the people who are involved with them to be honest with themselves about whether or not they can be okay with that. But I don't think it's just that simple that you're just always a cheater once you did. I think usually it's because there's something that wasn't being fulfilled in the relationship or something that, there was some resentment going on or something that wasn't working well. And so, you just, the person went outside of the relationship looking for it. And I think usually the problem is that relationship, unless it's really addressed and unless it can be addressed, then yeah, within the course of that relationship, they might cheat again. But I don't think that that means that they're necessarily going to cheat in every subsequent relationship they have. It doesn't mean they won't, but wouldn't say it's like a hard, fast rule. Melanie said 3 times a week for a married couple with children. I'm guessing that's, how many times you think that a married couple with children should have sex. I mean, I think that 3 times a week sounds pretty reasonable. When you're married, you have young kids, you're tired, there's stuff going on. Oh, and she said the norm is 3 times a week. I mean, I really don't. I think I want to say that the average is probably more like once a week or less, to be honest. But I would have to look that up to back it up. I'll have to look at that. I'm sure we probably have an article about it somewhere. Samar said, my husband makes me feel guilty. Is that for not wanting to have sex? I think that's something like it's like, I think people do that on both sides, whether it's about sex or whether it's about the chores or taking care of different things that you've expected each other to do around the house. I think it's like a bad default communication method that people start to use once you're married, where it becomes like, you were supposed to do this, or we used to do it, 6 days a week. We used to do it 5 days a week. Or, you used to not care how often we do it. And so people do that fall back to the way things were in the past. And then, so in that way, it ends up becoming like this guilting thing. The same way, I hate to do the like gender specific, but just for the sake of the conversation, that way, it's the same way that we do the same. You said before you got married that you would do the laundry every week. You said you would wash the dishes every night. And like, we're all human and we all get better and worse at things and change and don't keep up with things that we committed to do and, whatever it was. So even though I've certainly done it and I know the impulse to go that route of, but you said you would, it's just not a helpful form of communication. So I think the more it can be conversations about, well, how can we make it more fun? Or, this is, what, the person who isn't getting what they want, what could make it better for you? What would make it easier for you to wash the dishes more often or go down on me more often? Like, either way, like what would make it better for you could be helpful. Tracy said, I have very low sex drive. I was taking testosterone but started getting facial hair, so I stopped the injections. Is there any other things out there? I think one of actually the best things that you can do to increase your own sex drive, rather than trying different supplements and like messing with your body and trying to, figure out these different ways. I mean, the first thing I would do, obviously you've been to your doctor or you wouldn't be taking the hormone injections. But if that didn't work for you, then I would say spend some time each week, like carve out some time each week to masturbate, actually, because the more you masturbate and the more that you have orgasms, the more your body, starts to adjust and like get familiar, and like the more easy it is to be aroused when you're with somebody else, as opposed to, the sort of like urban legend myth about if you masturbate too much, then you don't want to have sex with your partner. I think that's really bullshit. And I think that the more you actually spend some time taking care of yourself and getting your body like into that rhythm, then the more natural it becomes and the more frequently you want it. And it also could be that you have low sex drive because you're tired or because of something else that's going on in your life that you're, depressed about or anxious about, or something else that's going on. So, and also sometimes when you have a low sex drive, but then you start anyway because your partner wants to, once you guys get started, it's a lot easier to get into it. And it's kind of like, and I hate to have to compare it, but it's kind of like going to the gym and working out. It's like, even when you don't want to, but then you start to do it and then you feel so good after. I don't know anybody who's ever come back from the gym and been like, why did I just do that? That sucked, and it's just like, most people don't do that after they have sex. So, maybe try to look at it's like working out, your bods together. Let's see. Chad said, but the way I feel comfortable with is when both parties are comfortable with it. Well, sure, everybody has to be comfortable with it. Let's see. Kristen said, what's the best way for a 38-year-old single mom to meet men? I really think right now the best way is to go online. I think 38 is still really young, and I would say go on OkCupid and go on Tinder and Bumble and Match or anything else that you want to give a try, and you'll find that there are so many other singles that age out there looking. I think it's really, really, really hard these days, unfortunately, to can't just go to a bar and meet somebody the same way. You can, but it's just not seeming to happen as much anymore. And the stigma around all those online dating and dating apps, I would say I have never known anybody recently to find out that somebody was on a dating app and then like make fun of them or look down on them. I think the only people who see dating apps as something that they should feel embarrassed about are the people who aren't on them yet. And then once people are on them, it just becomes like normal and it's fun, and just, it's just like putting any other app on your phone. And it's a good chance to get out, meet people, and learn what you like and what you want to do. And, you can join some groups too, but I know as a single mom, like it's really hard to come up with some kind of a regular activity that you want to do and that you can afford to do. I would just start swiping. Swipe or start swiping is what I would say. Charlene said, is going online and looking for a girl considered cheating? Well, first of all, cheating is however you define it within your own relationship. For me, I know if I was in a committed relationship with somebody and they were looking online for somebody else, yeah, I would consider that, not that they had actually cheated, but it would be a betrayal. I think there's a difference. Not everything has to be called actually cheating, but it's definitely a betrayal if you don't know that that's something that they want to do. If it's something that you guys have discussed or you've said that you're not exclusive, it's not. But yeah, for sure, if you're married or if you're in an exclusive relationship and they're doing something like that, it's dishonest, it's shitty, it's a bad thing to do. Let's see. Bradley said mediation is a joke. It can be a joke. It depends on, unfortunately, I mean, the whole family law system right now is so incredibly fucked up. That's all I can say. My own attorney could be watching this telling me that I'm being ridiculous for saying that, but it is. It's super fucked up in every state. It just is. It really sucks. The way that I think mediation should really be practiced is in the pure form of mediation, which is with somebody who is not, first of all, for divorce, I prefer them not be attorneys, because even though divorce is a legal issue, it's a romantic relationship coming to an end, it's a breakup, and you're dealing with a family system. And I think that attorneys basically make everything worse most of the time. Yeah. And so I would try to meet with a mediator who will take time to speak with each one of you alone. Some of them won't do that either, but I think that that's a big mistake too. You know, somebody who will hear both of your needs separately, both of your concerns and issues separately, and who knows how to deal with different personality types and is really skilled at understanding family dynamics and situations. And, you know, yes, it is a legal document that has to be prepared, and it should be run by attorneys towards the end, attorneys who are really willing to look at things to make sure that they are reasonable and enforceable, that you're not violating any family law codes and therefore making your entire, you know, settlement agreement null and void if somebody figures it out. You know, like, you want it to all be kosher, so to speak, for, you know, for as a legal document. You don't want it kicked back from the court. But walking into a courtroom is just, it is the most devastating thing, I believe, that anybody can do to themselves and to their family. So it's really just a matter of finding the right mediator and finding the right fit, and it's worth it. Kristen Rivera, Chad thinks that you're very beautiful. So maybe you guys can talk. Let's see. Kat Pressler says, only been together a year, old crush from middle school. I broke up with him, but he called her and told her not to contact him again. Should I give him another chance? Let's see. So I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. So you're saying, so he got together. Is he your old crush from middle school, or he got together, he called the old crush from middle school? And also I would want to know, how did you find out about it? Did you find out about it because, he told you about it, or did you find out about it somehow, like you found messages or something like that? That to me would be a big difference as far as whether or not you should give him another chance. You know, I think that if he came to you and he said, this is what happened, and I want you to know about it, and this is how I feel about it, then you can decide based on what he says, you know, what you want to do. If, you know, and also, you know, when you say he called her, was he just calling to say hi? Was he just, you know, I mean, I definitely have guy friends I stay in touch with from when I was younger. And if I called them or talked to them or vice versa, it wouldn't necessarily be that it was like a romantic thing. I don't know why she asked him never to contact her again. If it's because, you know, if she's married or if something bad happened between them. But I think that there are a lot of different factors there. I think it's a little, you know, it sounds sketchy because I'm guessing the fact that you're bringing it up, there probably was something that confirms to you that he was trying to hook up with her or something like that. But I think you need to just, you know, really talk about it and then take it and then take it from there. Maybe if you have other information you want to add in the comments, and let me know a little bit more about how you found out, and if you've already had a conversation with him, that would be really helpful for me in giving you more of an answer. Oh, Bradley said, I'm sorry you're having a bad time with your situation. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am too. It really sucks. But let my bad situation be the warning for you all. is all I can say. At least I want to use it for the good because nobody else should be going through it. Okay, Mike says, serious question. The relationship I was in was great when it started 5 years ago. Her old boys and my son got into a lot of trouble and it weighed on our relationship. I quit drinking for her and life was great. After I left, she went back to meth. I miss her like crazy. Is it worth trying again? Well, I think that definitely depends on if she's sober at this point, and if she is sober, how long she's been sober for. You know, I also, like, I know what that's like, and it sounds like you're not drinking still. I'm not sure. But if you are, and if she's sober, and if she's been sober on her own for a while, I would say it's definitely worth, you know, speaking with each other and getting together and having a conversation about, you know, what, you know, sort of happened along the way that, you know, led to her relapse, and if there are ways that you guys could have supported each other differently, or the ways that you could do it differently now. If she's still on meth, I'm gonna say no, like stay away, as far away as you possibly can, because that's not a good situation. But I think it's something that I would definitely approach very slowly if she is sober, and take your time, because you don't want to jeopardize your own sobriety, you know, for her. But I understand, and I understand you probably went through a lot together and have a really strong connection, and it would be wonderful if it could work out. And, you know, I fully believe that people are able to become sober and stay sober and live a good life. And so maybe it is your time. I'd love to know if it is. Let's see. Rayhan said hello. Taylor James said 3 times a week is okay to me too, LOL. Bradley said 3 times a week when I was married. It was once a year, maybe if I was lucky. The last year, 5 years, just awful. Yeah, I mean, that was my point. Most of the people who I would see in divorce mediation setting had been like sleeping in separate rooms for years prior to coming into divorce. So I think that, you know, twice a week, like it sounds like the person who sent in the question, you know, it seems like that should be pretty good for her guy, but, you know, hopefully they can work it out. But yeah, I think 3 times a week sounds like a pretty good deal for most married couples. Oh, Charlene, so you said, no, my husband's online looking for someone to take care of him, so he doesn't have any responsibility. We're separated. Okay. So separated is its own whole thing. To me, if you're separated, this is my personal opinion, if you are separated, it's free game, because you're saying that we're not living together as a married couple right now. And it depends on what the terms of your separation were. I don't mean the legal terms of your separation. I mean the conversation between the two of you. If it was a separation to try to work where you just wanted to try to work things out, and have some time living apart, but you want to eventually get back together. And so you know, had a very specific talk about not being with anybody else, then you could say, okay, cheating. But I think if you just separated and you did not have a conversation where you specifically delineated, we're separated, but we're still not going to see other people, then I don't think it's cheating. I think it's, you know, fair game for each of you to be exploring what your other options are during that time. And it's also another reason I totally dislike the whole concept of separation, because what I've seen in my experience, again, mediating divorces, was that when people came back after having been separated for a while, it was actually those were the far more complicated cases to mediate than where people just decided to divorce and came in, because you've had time apart, you know, each of you have kind of like started to develop your own new habits, your new ways. Maybe there's somebody has a girlfriend, somebody has a boyfriend, but you have funds that you've been commingling and things are just like messy, like all over the place. So, I know you're separated right now. So the question's not, should you stay together or get divorced? But I don't, in my opinion, unless the two of you had a very, very specific conversation where you said during the separation, we won't be seeing anybody else, then no, I don't think that he's cheating. I think he's doing what he's entitled to do as a separated man, frankly. And then I think then that should also, be information for you. Charlene, how does that make you feel? Do you want to be back with him? Are you just mad because you think he's just this kind of like, lazy dude who just needs somebody to take care of him, and so he can't even be alone for a while, and that makes him less attracted to you? Then what does that tell you about whether or not you want to continue to have this man as your husband? I would look at it as, what does it say to you? And what does it say to your heart about the fact that he wants to be with somebody else? It's less important, I think, to determine, is he cheating, than to determine, how do I feel about the possibility of him being with somebody else? Is it something that I would welcome because he would be off my own hands, or is it something that makes me mad? Let's see. Pedro said, where is this? This is, well, I am in Los Angeles. That's where I live. So that's where I am. Oh, thank you. Somebody from YourTango said, looks like most married couples have sex a few times a month. So there's an article right there you can look at. So it was somewhere in between the once a week and like once a month thing that I wasn't quite sure of. So there's the article. There you go. Let's see. Chad said, I miss being in a relationship because when I'm sleeping, then I get a nightmare or a flashback of my abused past, and then I wake up and, it bites not being able to chat about it. Yeah, I totally get that. I know what that's like completely. For me, it helped getting a dog because my dog sleeps in my bed now, and she like crawls under my covers, and it actually helped my, bad dreams a little bit. I bet you probably have some friends out there also who, like, I know I have certain night owl friends who are up at any time and I can send them a message on Messenger. Like, I don't think it's a great reason to get into a relationship just because you want somebody there when you wake up from a bad dream. You definitely want to make sure that you're finding somebody who you're compatible with and who's the right fit. And I know how tempting it is just to want somebody there to snuggle with at night or make you feel better or more comfortable, but you also don't want to end up, choosing somebody just because you need that, in the morning. Let's see. Oh, James Barker said hello. Hi. Amanda said, thank you. I hope he and I can start something new. We caught up via text on our, this is about the old flame. We caught up via text on our recent trips and how much we miss kissing each other. Oh, that's so sweet. He said, I miss your face and buns. So I sent him a picture of a hamburger. LOL. That's really cute. That's so cute. So Amanda, yeah, so go for it. It sounds adorable. Amanda, I want you to come back on and tell us all about how it goes when you guys actually see each other. That is so cute. I'm really happy for you. That'll be fun. Now, the other thing I would say, Amanda, is I would want you to think about why it went south last time, right? So what happened last time, and sort of have that, not to like hash it out, but is there something that's really easy to overcome? Maybe you guys were just young, or or was there something more major? Let's see. Kat said he's been talking to 2 months. He gave me his phone to text a friend, and their messages were on his phone. Oh, this is okay, about the middle school. Okay, so you just found the messages there and he didn't tell you about it. So I think it's a conversation to have. If he gave you the phone and you just happened to see them, then I would just tell him that you saw it, that it's been kind of bothering you, and that you want to talk about it, and then see how he reacts. I think almost anybody would probably get pretty defensive right away. So I don't want to say like, oh, if he's defensive, then sorry, I just need to be comfortable. I don't think if he's defensive, it's necessarily a bad thing, but you know, if he gets super defensive about it and he can't give you a reason that really like makes enough sense to you, then it's something to consider, you know, whether or not you can trust him. And maybe you need to take some time to figure that out, you know, and think about what you're comfortable with him. Alex said, why do exes show up? They always show up. I mean, Alex, my eyes are so bad, I can't tell just from looking. Oh, you're a guy. I was going to say, I mean, most women I know, that I was having a conversation with a guy friend a while ago, and he was saying how he finds it sort of like annoying and haughty that most women he knows, well, or women he's gone out with, I guess, like when you're breaking up, that they would say, I guess he would break up with people a lot, but they would say, you know, just wait, you'll be back, or something like that. And I said to him, but the thing is, you probably will be. Like, guys just always are. They always come back. They always come back at some point, and by then it's usually too late. So I don't know, Alex, like maybe I just didn't know it, but maybe all women come back too, or maybe you're just like a super special guy. But I think that a lot of times people break up for maybe silly reasons, or they break up for good reasons, but then they're lonely at some point, and so they go back, and we have kind of like that selective memory moment where we just think about the parts that were really good, you know. And I mean, I know I've been tempted to call back, you know, guys who were not good relationships, just because you have a night where you're feeling really lonely, and it would be nice, you know, like Isaac was saying, it would be nice to, you know, just have somebody there to talk to. So I think it's a natural thing for exes to just come back. It also doesn't mean you ever have to actually pick up the phone or talk to them when they do, though. Eggy, I think, or Iggy said, hi, ma'am. Hi. Oh, thank you to Lori. You just shared the video. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's always great because we get new people on here. James said the past should stay in the past in relationships. Sometimes, for sure. I mean, people sometimes do get back, and it's good. Alex said, why do exes show up with friends I met like 6 months later? You mean like dating friends, like your friends? That would be really sucky. Hi, Paul. Good to see you. Good morning. Oh, Kat said more. She said they were only friends in middle school, but he told me had wanted to have sex with her since middle school. And he told her, I guess, he wanted to have sex with her since middle school in their texts. But they did both say they would only do it if they were single. She has a boyfriend, but was encrypting messages and half-naked pictures to my boyfriend. And in the text, it looks like it went on, but every once in a while Facebook does this, and I can't see the rest of what happened. But okay, so now I mean, see, Kat, like, this is really different. Like, now that you're sharing all of this, like, that's messed up, right? Like, that, yeah, that's pretty messed up. Yeah. Okay, Kat, now I'm changing my mind. Like, I would probably just get rid of him at this point. See, this is why it's good for me to have all this information at the beginning. Morris said, hiya, it's nearly 4 a.m. here in Great Britain, and first time I've listened to you talking in what you're talking about. Going to sleep soon. Been interesting. Hope to tune in next week. We'll talk ASAP. Night, night, sweet dreams, hon. Maura. Okay, Maura, it's great having you here. You're so sweet. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Travis said, we're on a break for Ross. I know. It's probably the separated thing. I mean, it's kind of true. It is a break. Honestly, I think Ross and Rachel were on a break. That's my opinion about what happened on Friends. They were on a break, and I think that Rachel should have let it go. But if she had let it go, we wouldn't have had all those awesome seasons of Friends to watch with them going back and forth. Charlene said, I never want to be in another relationship. I mean, I hear you. Oh, uh-oh. James said that he lost me, but then it looks like other people are still here. So I'm hoping you guys can still hear me. Okay. So I was going back to, Charlene, yeah, like, I understand that feeling about never wanting to be in a relationship again. I think that that's a pretty normal, natural thing to feel when you're really frustrated with your last one and you're feeling hurt. And so for right now, when people feel that way, I think just accept, okay, that's how you feel for right now. There's no reason for me to try to convince you that you'll want to be in one later. You'll feel how you feel when you feel it. Okay, hi, Gio and Michael. Travis is laughing at something, but I don't know, I missed it because I never get to stay in real time with you guys. James says, I was separated from my wife for the last 7 years and we're still friends today and we're both happy in our own lives and it's great. We realize we're happier apart. That's terrific. I think that happens with most people, honestly. I was just having that conversation with a friend yesterday that most people find out, even if they didn't want, even the one who didn't want the separation or the divorce, that once they've gotten to the point of making that decision, both of them typically just feel better. Let's see. Oh, Travis said, she's reading this from the top down. She won't see this for a bit. That's true. Travis also said, I'm a hot lesbian trapped in a man's body. Why don't women love me? You have a girlfriend, Travis. I've already seen this on your page. I'm not going to answer your silly question. Let's see. Kat said, I found out the night before our vacation. We went to Colorado together and fought the whole way there. Oh, so you've already talked to him about it. Then I made him a deal to be friends while we were there. He lied about the situation for 6 days, but now that we're away from each other, he's doing everything to get me back. You said more and I can't see it, but I think you need to break up with him is what I think, Kat. It doesn't sound good. I think I just got to, okay. Now, oh, look, I just caught up. Chad said people need to stop saying never because most people say never on something. They end up doing the thing they said never on. Well, that's why it's, never say never, right? But people do it. People say never because people get in a grumpy mood or a sad mood or a depressed mood or however they feel. And so right now it feels like never. And that's okay. And then it can change too. Travis said I'm mean because I know he has a girlfriend. I'm not mean. I just know shit. So there you go. Let's see. Alex said, I'm a ghost hunter. Do I what? I want to know about the ghosts. My son was ghost hunting in my hotel room 2 weeks ago and he found a whole bunch. That's all I know. But I have never hunted a ghost myself. Judy, hello. Loretta said, it's my anniversary of 26 years, but we've been together for 29. That's awesome. I'm not a stalker, Travis. You wrote it last week, and I just pay attention to you guys. I really care about the people who come on here every week. I think it's awesome. Well, it looks like everybody is kind of wrapping up with the questions. And I have to say, I'm fairly exhausted tonight from my own week. So I'm going to wrap it up. And I see that Alex said, I'm a ghost hunter. Do you think they can mess with my relationships? The ghosts? I would think you would know better than I do. Because you have experience with them. And I don't. Because I don't really know. Are they like the Ghostbuster ghosts? Or are they different? Like, that would be really, if you want to write an article about that and send it to me, I'd be really super interested in reading that. Travis said, when co-parenting, is it okay to put drugs in your ex's car? Unfortunately, I have heard it is not. That's the new word on the street, is no, it is not. Amanda said, old fling topic. We were both young. I was 25 and he was 32. Okay, so this is the old fling, and I said, why did you guys break up? So you said old fling topic. We were both young. I was 25, he was 32. Now I'm 31 and he'll be 38. I want to bring it up and see if he wants to date or just wants a hookup. I know he broke up with his girlfriend a few months ago too. I mean, it's been a good long amount of time. And so then I don't know, are you okay with just a hookup? Or do you only want to see him if you want to date? And then, I don't know, do you know if he was with his girlfriend for a long time? And like, do you want to be his, would you be okay with it if you end up just being his rebound? Because that's what you kind of have to be prepared for. And you might be, you know, and it could still be a fun thing just to get back together. But if you're going to get your heart broken, you know, like I would just go in there with like the best. I think I said this before, like I just feel like the best expectation is no expectation, and just see what it's like and kind of be aware of what you're going to be cool with and not cool with, and go have fun. Oh, Travis wasn't calling me a stalker. He was calling somebody else a stalker. Perfect. I don't know. I'm tired tonight, you guys. My brain is a little bit like in fuzzy shit week land. Chad said, have a good night, Arianna. I really enjoy your shows. I enjoy you being here, Chad. I'm so appreciative that you're here every week. All right, so I'm going to say goodnight. Everybody's going to say goodnight. If anybody is still here and you do have any questions, or if you've been watching this later and you want to ask anything for another show, my email is Arianna, ARIANNA @YourTango.com. Or you can send a message here on the YourTango Facebook page. And if you tweet, you can follow me on Twitter at Arianna Jeret, and say hi. And if you're on Instagram, I'm over there too, but it's only Arianna Jer, because for some reason, Arianna Jeret is taken, and I find that very suspect. So if you can find out who Arianna Jeret is on Twitter, because I think I'm the only Arianna Jeret in the world, you'd be doing me a huge solid too. All right. Have a good night, guys. I will see you next week. Bye. Oh, and you can see Becca Tuesday and Thursday, same time, same bat channel, and you can see Joanna on Wednesday. All right. Have a good night. Bye.